So show me your cup. The cup you're drinking out of, it's got
Oh,
like all sorts of stuff on it. What is it?
yeah. It's got my flight. The 480th is the unit that I flew with F-16s in Germany. Black Forest Festival from last year, Black Forest Festival. Sticker that says mental health just as important as physical health. Tri-Lakes Cares is a local food bank that I take patients from. Greece is where my brother was stationed. I'm a super donor with a local blood bank. That's my best friend's company. 1 million
Man,
cups. That's a networking company, networking group
nice. So basically, you are just a walking billboard
for everything. Yep.
for everything. Who needs social media? You just walk around with that cup and
That's all I
basically, how much do you charge? Maybe we'll put a best DPC sticker on that.
need. There we go.
I need
That's good.
I need to
Provide
find
me a
out
free
how.
sticker, I'll put it on there.
All right, there you go. Hello and welcome to the Best DPC podcast, the world's #1 show covering all things direct primary care. I'm your host, Wayne Lowry, and today I am honored to have with us Dr. Rachel Langley. Dr. Langley spent 8 years as a flight surgeon in the U.S. Air Force, which I can only imagine means that she performed surgeries while on flight. If not, she can correct me in just a minute. She now serves as a reservist. In August 2023, she opened up her own clinic in Colorado Springs. She is a former middle school science and math teacher who's always looking for the alternative path to avoid physical burnout. She's passionate about coaching, weight management trends like GLP-1, and she has 2 cows at home. I know that's a rough segue. I can't wait to hear about her cows, her turkeys, her chickens, and her love for direct primary care. So let's dive in and welcome Dr. Langley. How are you
Thank you.
today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. So I have so many questions, but first off, for our listeners, maybe you should correct me on flight surgeon.
So, a flight surgeon is from back in the day, especially in Britain when all doctors were called surgeons. But if you're going to interact with a lot of pilots, you've got to sound cool. So, I think that's why we've kept it that way. But all it is a primary care doctor who takes care of pilots, other air crew, air traffic controllers, and their families.
Now I know you said that to make it sound a little less cool, but let's be honest, it's pretty cool.
Oh,
You
it's a
are
fantastic
so
job.
you are serving those pilots with primary care and so tell us a little bit about that experience.
So you get a little additional training, significant training about aerospace medicine and aerospace physiology. You need to know what's going to happen to someone's body and what health risks there's going to be if they're going to altitude on a regular basis. So lower ambient pressure, the chance of having a sudden decompression at altitude, so a sudden rush of air outwards, things like that can really impact your physiology, your health, and certain medical conditions, certain medications are not a good mix with those risks. So you need to have that formal education. And then also, a lot of your time as a flight surgeon, luckily, is spent out in the field getting to know these folks. Because, especially these high performing pilots, flying is their life. And my job as a doctor is to keep them safe and to keep these multi million-dollar aircraft safe. So I don't want them crashing, which means sometimes that means I will be grounding them and keeping them from what they love most in the world. As a result, I've got to build a decent relationship with them. I have to spend time with them and physically put my life in their hands. So I get to fly with the pilots that I'm working with to show that I trust them and maybe I can earn their trust in turn.
Okay, so hold on a second. So you fly with the pilots. So you are so Tom Cruise takes you on a spin. Like how does that work?
Yeah, I've flown in C-130s, big ones with propellers. I really enjoyed my time at a training base because they were all two-seaters because it's a trainee and a trainer. So sometimes I got to fly with the trainers in those planes, and I go up in T1s, which are kind of like a nice little plane to go and get lunch real quick, come back, or T-38s are more of the training to become a jet pilot, the really fast ones that pull G's. Or the T6 is my favorite. It's a propeller plane that you get to do all the loops, de-loops, the fun stuff in.
So,
In addition to a bunch of other planes too.
I mean, that sounds amazing, but I can only imagine probably the best part of all that is walking to the nearest yogurt shop with like the big sunshades and the jacket, right? And just like slow motion walking. Everybody looks like, oh, this person's cool.
I also live in Colorado Springs, which is just rife with military folks. So I think I get nothing but eye rolls when I wear my leather bomber jacket and my big aviation sunglasses. Everyone's just rolling their eyes at me. So not quite as cool around here, I guess.
Well, I think you're pretty cool, and I just met you. And so you went from serving in our military and being involved in that. Of course, you're still serving, but you decided to launch into DPC. So tell me a little bit about that. What made you dive into the DPC space?
Well, ever since even high school, I mean, I was surrounded by a lot of highly driven students at my high school in the Washington, D.C. area. So there were a lot of people saying they wanted to be doctors and lawyers. And I think my biology teacher at the time, one of my mentors, was one of the first ones to say, being a doctor isn't all it's cracked up to be. The way doctors are portrayed and seen is just not the way the doctor life is anymore. And I kept getting that message throughout college as well, that being a doctor was actually pretty miserable. Like the suicide rates for physicians these days are out of this world. So maybe you should reconsider that. And that's one of the reasons that I became a middle school teacher first. I still wanted to work with people. I still loved biology. So I did that and I loved it, but I still felt a calling to be a physician. So I was always on the lookout for what is it that's causing this different lifestyle than one would expect as a doctor. So that's one of the reasons that even though I was family medicine trained, I went further to become a flight surgeon, because instead of just being in clinic day in and day out saying 30 patients a day, I got to spend half my time out with the pilots, out in the air traffic control tower, watching this plane zoom by. And that brought a lot of joy to my life, building relationships with my patients outside of the clinical setting. So when I knew that I wanted to separate, I was still on the lookout for, I don't want to just be another cog in the wheel and see all the gazillion patients impersonally a day and not have the fulfillment that I'd gotten used to as a flight surgeon.
Mhm.
So I looked up one of my mentors from residency. I knew he'd gotten out of the military, he'd retired. So I wanted to see what he was doing because he might have some good ideas. And that was the first time I'd heard of direct primary care, is he'd opened a practice in Idaho. So after that, I started looking around at other practices. I knew I wanted to settle down in Colorado Springs since that's where my and my husband's families are all located. And I saw some practices. I came out, I was living in Germany with the Air Force at the time, came out for some interviews, found a practice that I meshed with, learned the ropes from that DPC practice for a while, and then I got the chance to open my own practice, and I've loved every minute of it.
So tell me about the decision in your mind to take something a little bit more secure and to launch into your own thing. Because there's a lot of people that maybe they have the training, maybe they have the medical knowledge, but starting your own clinic, starting your own business, like that's a totally different ballgame. I want to take a quick break to talk about bestdpc.com. Are you a doctor looking to break free from the headaches of insurance and take control of your practice? Or maybe you're an employer searching for an affordable healthcare solution that actually works. At bestdpc.com, we cut through the noise and connect you with the country's best direct primary care clinics. Whether you're a patient tired of surprise medical bills or a physician ready to build a thriving membership based practice, we've got the tools and resources you need. Find the best DPC doctors near you, get expert advice, and take the first step towards a better healthcare. Visit bestdpc.com today and see why direct primary care is the future of medicine. That's bestdpc.com, because great healthcare should be simple, affordable, and built around you. Your thought process from going, hey, I've got an income, to, hey, I've got to build my own company.
Yeah, it was a big jump. And I feel like I kind of cheated in that I first joined another practice and got to learn the ropes somewhat from them, but I certainly wasn't involved in the nitty gritty business aspects of it. So when I did for my own company, it was going against the grain of all of our training saying, hey, you doctor, you stick with the medicine side. Don't worry about it. All the insurance administrators, people, stuff like that. We'll do the business side. Just trust us.
Yeah.
So I still had that in my head and I had to let go of that. I went to networking groups because I didn't have many patients yet. So I had time to spend time with other entrepreneurs and pick up that entrepreneurial mindset, learn skills from them, build relationships with other business people that could help me get started. And that helped a lot too. I know we have a small business development center here in town that was really helpful with just making sure I had all my ducks in a row legally, tax wise, as I got started, because those really intimidate me still.
Yeah, well, I mean, that intimidates a lot of people. I mean, I can tell you from my experience starting multiple businesses, the thing that I worry about the most is, do I do it in the right order? Did I file that? Did I do this? And then, sometimes we get bogged down in the weeds of trying to do business. We don't actually do business. And so it's very admirable to see someone who's willing to take a risk and learn something new and to dive into the entrepreneurial space. So you talked about some of the networking opportunities. Um, where did you find the most success in finding like-minded people? Was that other DPCs? Was it just general business groups, masterminds, school communities? Like where did you find your tribe?
I've liked 1 Million Cups a lot. That's an internet or a national, at least, networking group that I think they call themselves more of a support group for entrepreneurs than a networking group. So
Mhm.
I liked the focus not only on building relationships so we can do business with each other, but also just getting that energy back that you tend to get worn out of you over the course of the week. You get worn
Mhm.
out, and then you've got these Wednesday mornings to reinvigorate and connect with people that are going through the same struggles, that know the difficulties you're facing, and can give you that pat on the back. Don't give up yet.
Yeah. So besides the motivation, was there other um what other things were they bringing to the table as far as support? Any technology that you found from those groups that you said, "Hey, this really has helped me," or like marketing techniques? Like what else did you kind of learn from those groups?
I got a lot of book recommendations, podcast recommendations that I've drawn upon a lot. There's a marketing book called Everything is Marketing. Technically, it's for dentist offices, but that's really what got me started in thinking about, hey, outside the box, what can I do to make my space, everything when I interact with someone, kind of really scream, my office is awesome, my practice is awesome. You should join me and check me out and send all your friends here too. So I really liked that book. I think that there's some other DPC practices. Dr. Phil Bosher up in Omaha does a lot to educate physicians about how to put themselves out there in the virtual space, what to look for in a good website, what SEO techniques. It's a new one every day. He's the one who turned me on to Smarter Q, which is a social networking app, I guess it would be considered, but it plugs into all my social media and allows me to recycle posts automatically. So I just post my 200 favorite posts and they're just going to run forever. And if I die, the social media accounts will never die with me.
Yeah, no, the social media, you will be long gone. I still like bump into posts and I go, wait a second, I'm pretty sure they've been dead 10 years.
Oh, no.
I'm like, I don't know that I should engage with that post. So, what was the name of that last platform you said? Social what?
Smarter Q.
Smarter Q. All right.
QUEU, or however you spell that. British line. Yeah. European.
Oh, don't worry. I can't spell anything. So, I will let ChatGPT solve that for me here in a little bit. So talking about that, kind of segue into maybe some of your business setup. You are a solopreneur, right? You're by
Right?
yourself.
I have
You
no
have any
staff at
staff?
all.
No
No.
staff at all.
My mom's a retired nurse and she helped me a lot in the beginning, getting things sorted out and just manning the front desk while I was going crazy. So I highly recommend having a retired nurse mom who can help you. But now I have no staff. She's gone on to enjoy her retired life, and I'm holding it down.
So are you then so you're scheduling your patients, you are making the referrals, you are booking the follow-ups, ordering the labs, you're doing all the things.
All the
So
things.
how
You know how to
all
do
the
it.
things. So how much time do you have if you're doing all the things, like how much time are you able to spend with the patients?
Well, a lot of those things I'm doing while I'm with the patient too. I mean,
Huh?
my appointments are half an hour to an hour long. And I mean, right there, we're also chatting about when you're going to come back in. So I schedule that on my laptop right then. We're talking about what labs we're going to draw. I'm ordering them then, ordering Quest to come and pick them up as soon as they can. I'm, let's see what else. I'm sending the referral right there. As we talk about it, making sure the fax is going to the right place and it doesn't get a kickback.
So what you're saying is you're multitasking.
A little bit, yeah.
Okay. See, I couldn't do that. I would have to be like, "Okay, what did I just say? What did I just do?" So, I'm glad you've got many different talents that are on display here. So, you're scheduling your own posts, you're booking your own appointments, um, and what tell us about your tech stack. What are you using, if you don't mind sharing, your EHR, your, outreach, your phone system? What are you using, and would you recommend any of those?
I'm firmly devoted to Atlas as my EMR.
Okay.
They've got some clever AI options that help me to write those more detailed referral requests, things like that, so that I don't even have to think about it. It just draws from the note that I just wrote and writes up a fax that I can send to a specialist or wherever I'm sending them. So that's pretty cool. Let's see. The only phone company around me is Comcast, and they recently put in a new feature on my phones where automatically I used to have to switch back and forth between my phones being sent to my office versus my cell phone if I was going to be home longer than I expected or stay home that day, get some chores done. Um, so now instead of having to mess with that, no matter who's calling, the voicemail gets transcribed and sent to my email address. And that's something that I can, even if I'm with a patient and just need to glance at who just called, I can do so in my email. And that's been such a game changer. I really, really like that feature.
Yeah. So, what about your engagement with your patients? Tell us a little bit about a day in the life. Your patients come in. Do you have a waiting room, or you basically just on time appointments? Kind of talk about that patient experience from the moment they walk in until they see you.
Yeah, so patients often find out about me online. They can book a meet and greet with me for free on my website. That was something that I really liked incorporating, that they could. It does mean I have two schedules, one through my website and one through Atlas. So I do have to go through and update both of those whenever I have an appointment made on one that doesn't fit with the other. So a little bit obnoxious, but it's been really worth it to be able to let prospective patients sign up for meet and greets. And then I'll go in if someone signs up and delete that slot from availability in Atlas, and it works out nicely. Or vice versa, if I have a patient that really has to come in during my meet and greet sections, I go into Acuity and block that off. They come in, meet me, and then they have to sign up online through my Atlas link. I really insist on them doing that at home because I think that they can put in better medication dosages if they can just sit at home and pull that up rather than coming in and trying to recall that, or, hey, when did I have that procedure done? I don't remember. And then I get them in for their first hour-long appointment to get to know them. I try to give them a heads up that we're in the middle of three buildings. I often have people go to the wrong building, but it happens. First floor in the back, I do have a waiting room. It has 5 chairs and a couch in it, as well as a little coffee bar. And I just got a fizzy water dispenser. I love fizzy water
Ooh,
after
fancy.
living in Germany. So you can get your fizzy water fix or your coffee or tea or cocoa, whatever. I got a coffee thing from Goodwill. It was fantastic.
Nice.
Most of
So,
the time, people aren't waiting, but they can if they need to. Or I really like having, I have Duplos and some other basic kid toys sitting in the front room. So if parents don't have time to get a babysitter or it's a hassle to get a babysitter, I've even just had a set of triplets come with their dad the other
Oh, wow.
day, and they were having a great time with the Duplobes up front. And so we actually just moved our appointment into the waiting room and talked about his full health history, just sitting right there while his kids played. So they could have a snack and play around and interact with their dad when they needed to, but also be distracted enough that we could have a good conversation about his health. So that's available. I have some people with older kids that will just sit and play on their devices or read in the front room while their parents go back, and they're comfortable enough for that.
So basically just gives them a place to be. It's not so much that they're there waiting for their appointment as much as it's a place for your family members to hang out or to chill out while the person that's there for their appointment is seen. So that's at
Yeah,
least that's how I take it.
yeah.
Now, what about virtual care? Are you utilizing any technology around that to provide virtual care for your patients?
Yeah, Atlas provides great video services. It's apparently secure. That's what they tell me. Where I can either video call them to their phone or to their email, send a link through the EMR. I'm also happy to do phone appointments too. Honestly, phone and webcam appointments tend to be shorter than in
Mhm.
person appointments for some reason. I'm fine with it either way. I love it. Just sometimes I forget that on the insurance side, they really don't get paid for phone visits. Like you
Mhm.
could spend an hour on the phone with a patient and have it not count really, which is just crazy because I provide great care over the phone and can keep people out of urgent cares, out of the ERs with a simple phone call. So
Yeah.
valuable to everyone.
It really is. And, one thing that I always appreciated about my DPC, is I would go see my provider and then I don't need to go back to get the lab results. Like they email me the lab results, they text me and say, "Hey, do you got 5 minutes for a phone call?" Sure. And then, we cover what we need to cover. I know what I need to do. Um, shocker, lose weight, exercise, do the things you're supposed to do, eat healthy, stop eating so many tortillas. But but they tell us that, and I don't have to go in. I don't have to take another 30 minutes or an hour or 2 hours of my day to see a provider. And so tell me your customers' feedback or your patients' feedback on that. What do they think? People coming out of a traditional healthcare system or healthcare plan to having a DPC provider that has that flexibility. What are they telling you?
Yeah, I mean, they can't really believe that it's real sometimes. I know at my meet and greets, I sometimes get the no, but really, where did you actually graduate from? Are you really a doctor? You don't. If you're a doctor, you should not have time for this kind of care, this level of care. Being able to text or email you, that's just not what we're used to. So it's sometimes hard to believe.
Well, so you started this practice. You're about 2 years into it,
Almost.
um, almost 2 years. Where do you see yourself in the next 2 years? Are you going to hire someone to help you grow this? Are you looking to expand and grow? Or are you happy with what we would call in my world a lifestyle business?
Hmm.
Um, or are you looking at more of a more aggressive growth strategy for your practice?
I definitely like the lifestyle practice, I guess. The micro practice is another one I've heard. So I like where I am. I'm not sure I want to grow much more. I'd love to hire an MA to help out, but I really want to find the right person first. That's more important than getting some of these tasks off my plate immediately. I dream of joining and helping other doctors who are afraid of DPC but want to form their own practice and get them started, like a DPC incubator, where
Mhm.
I mean, I have a little bit more space that I really need. It'll be a little bit cramped, but if I could bring another doctor who's interested, wants to build their own practice, but is for now can't afford rent, can't afford supplies, I think that that would be an ideal combination. They come and work with me for a while. They have their own separate patients that are building up. We cover for each other too. I'd love to go on a month-long vacation and then them cover for me during that. But
Yeah.
also, they're slowly building up their practice without having so many expenses of a startup business. And then as they get more comfortable, they have a number that they think they can sustain themselves with. They move out, they start their own practice. Because I think DPC doctors often have very strong opinions about how their practice should be run, which is wonderful. And I know I love having things exactly the way I want them to be. So I'm not really looking to find a doctor who's going to agree with me on everything, but I'd love to help one get started. We help each other out while they're getting started, and then they go on to thrive on their own.
Yeah. So, tell me a little about some of the specialties or some of, I guess specialty is not the right term, but what are some of the areas of focus that you really enjoy in your practice? Is it weight loss management? Is it pediatric care? What would you say are the kind of the areas of focus that you probably enjoy more than others?
Well, I think a lot of people think of family doctors sometimes as just referral machines, which always drives me a little crazy because that's
Mhm,
a little bit of what we've become in the typical insurance driven system is that if
mhm,
you only have 10 minutes with me, yeah, I don't have time to look at that mole and cut it off. I don't have time to talk with you more about your diet and why you might have diarrhea every day. I'm just going to send you to a dermatologist and send you to a gastroenterologist. But with fewer patients and more time, I received a training from all those specialists. In residency, I spent months working with dermatology, general surgery, um, even podiatry to learn the basics of their practice so that I know the first steps. Maybe I can keep my patients out of their offices entirely, which at least I know in the military training system was rather appreciated. I mean, our specialists already had enough to do, and they didn't really need to see someone who just needed a couple little dietary tweaks to feel better or to have every conversation about an umbilical hernia, the risks of having one, whether they really
mhm,
needed surgery on it or not. I could have those conversations instead, save them some time so that they can spend more time with their appointments and have the patients that do go and see the specialists to really need them. So, in general, I love to dabble in all of those things that sometimes we forget that family medicine doctors are trained in. But I also am a lactation consultant, so I love working with new moms and new babies. And I also am really interested in what's coming out these days about lifestyle coaching, weight loss coaching, health coaching, and GLP-1 medications when they're needed. I think that it's important that folks that are considering GLP-1 medications know that they're not going to solve all their issues. They're still going to have the same brain that's leading to the decisions that they don't want to be making and really be tackling the mental processes behind the choices that they're making in order to have lasting results, even on the GLP 1 medications. Because although they do a really great job with turning off that food chatter, with decreasing your desire for foods all the time and planning that next meal every minute of the day, you're eventually probably going to want to come off those medications. And if you haven't worked with your thoughts to be able to change those patterns and those habits, you're going to be pulled back into the same
mhm.
habits.
So then what are you thinking as far as with your practice? Are you trying to encourage people not to do them, to do them for a season, combine it with something else? Like what is kind of your general thoughts around GLP-1s right now?
I like to do both GLP-1s with some degree of health coaching. Some people can just listen to a podcast about better eating and the mental kind of the circle of hey, events happen and then you have thoughts about those events. Those thoughts cause feelings, and your feelings are what really drive you to take the next steps, whether that's going for a walk in the evenings or curling up on the couch with a bag of chips. So,
Mhm.
which, since you can change those
What
thoughts.
about what about going on a walk with a bag of chips? Is that on the table?
Oh, well, it depends on what kind of results you're getting from that. Use yourself as a little experiment. If it's going where you want it to go, then keep up the good work.
Wow, are you sure you're not a politician too? That was a very political answer.
I'm never going to say that there's not a food that you're allowed to eat. You're a grown up. You can eat whatever you want.
Oh, wow. I need you to talk to some people in my life. No, yeah, all kidding aside, so you wanna obviously, what you're saying is marrying that with a coaching, regiment, some routine or an app or something that you are And so in that, what are you seeing as far as results when you're combining those two elements together?
I'm seeing great success. I mean, I haven't had folks for who have been on the medications and been doing this work for years yet because I've only been practice for a little while, and GLP-1s haven't been out for that long. I certainly wasn't one of the early adopters of them. I wanted to see what
Mhm.
happened. Uh, but so far people are very, very happy with the kind of changes they're getting. And what's great about things that you learn in coaching and changing your thoughts to get the kind of outcomes that you want is that it doesn't just apply to weight loss. You find that you have better relationships because you're not just creating this external manual for your spouse that they don't know exists, but how dare they not realize how important it was that you don't leave your toothbrush there or whatever it is. Better relationships with your kids, just a healthier lifestyle, a happier life in general is really what I love to get my patients to.
All right. Well, that's interesting. Now, some of the things that have hit the news, and right now we're recording this at the end of May, and so some of the news stories over the last few weeks and month is the cost. So a lot of the compound pharmacy uh, that were creating their own versions of Ozempic and so forth. That is now been halted. They have, I think, until the end of this month, if I remember correctly. You could correct me if I'm wrong. And then they're not going to be available, basically. So, what are you seeing as far as the cost associated with those things? And are there alternatives that you're examining or looking at to help with the cost for your patients?
They are certainly expensive, and a lot of my patients don't have insurance, or the insurance is refusing to pay for them. So they have, I mean, I know that some of the manufacturers have some programs to reduce the cost, but they're still crazy expensive. And that's why I like so much being able to offer patients, hey, you know what, we can get your weight under control faster with these medications, or we could also do the mental work that's what's actually going to make this weight loss last. And
Make
you
it
won't
stick.
get there as fast, but you will have this will be the last time you ever have to lose weight.
Take a quick break to talk about scalebyseo.com. If you run a direct primary care clinic, you already know the power of patient relationships. But here's the thing, patients can't sign up if they can't find you. That's where Scale by SEO comes in. We help DPC clinics get seen where people are searching. So you're not just waiting for word of mouth referrals. With the right SEO strategy, your practice becomes the obvious choice when people are looking for better healthcare options. If you're not showing up where they're searching, you're missing out. Be visible, get found, grow your practice. Don't leave growth to chance. Visit scalebyseo.com today and let's get your clinic in front of the right people.
Realize how humble you have to be as an entrepreneur. As a doctor, especially as a military officer, I kind of got used to being in one place where the decisions I made should stick and they should last, and that's the way we do them from now on. But I really have so much to learn, especially when it comes, I mean, in medicine, obviously, too, but also in the business arena. Things that I originally might have set out and said, no, I'm never going to go to a networking group. What do you even do in a networking group? These are fake friends. What are these? So having to really eat my humble pie and go to these networking groups and sit and talk with every realtor in the city. And that's okay. These are still fun and interesting people. And it's kind of like just sitting and talking with patients too. I mean, there's always
Mhm.
conversation to be made and connections to build, and you never know when that's going to end up being a really great boon for your business or for your personal life, a friendship that you wouldn't have found if you hadn't gone to that stupid networking group.
Well, there's something to be said there. Now, you said you are enjoying this whole solo practice thing. Um, what about you most providers? I mean, it seems like you have a broad enough history from being a teacher, which I'm married to a teacher. I understand. I know that life, how much planning is involved and how much,
Grading,
preparation
always grading.
and how grading and more grading and a lot of doing it yourself. I mean, it is a figure it out yourself kind of job. And I can see that being part of your history, helping you be in a position to do the solo practice. But what about most, I would say a majority doctors I know that would probably struggle with social media or struggle with networking or struggle with onboarding? What would you recommend to them, like as far as their first steps into DPC space?
I would almost recommend they get a life coach and really examine the thoughts that they're having about social media. If they're sitting and thinking the whole time about how social media is taking over the world and it's evil and it's terrible and I hate being involved in it at all, yeah, it's going to be a lot more painful than it has to be.
Yeah.
But if you consider it as just a new thing to learn, something that will help you to grow as a person, something that you can get good at, but you're going to have to practice, then it really changes the whole experience. So, yes, if you're miserable in your current insurance driven job, getting out will help, but you will also need to change some of the thought processes that have become habits for you. So going in and complaining about how everyone else needs to change and then your life would be perfect isn't going to work in DPC any more than it works in an insurance driven company. That you need to be working on yourself, and that really helps you to help your patients too. You learning new skills, it's just such a great way to be able to pass on your personal experiences to some extent to your patients and relate to them with where they are. If you can see that your patient who's struggling with any desire to possibly eat a green vegetable ever in their life because it's just not what they're used to. And
Mhm.
you're sitting there thinking about how much they hate learning how to do their own taxes for their business. Maybe you can find some common ground there.
Gotcha. Well, before we wrap up today, I did not want to leave this podcast without asking you to tell us about your farm. Like, I mean, it's not like you have enough on your plate. You've also got a garden and a farm. So tell us about your farm.
I am the kind of person who the more I have to do, the more I can get done. I've found that if I'm just sitting around, I'm only going to sit around more. But if I have a lot to do, I just thrive and I just have more time than I ever thought I would. So, one of the reasons I named my clinic Homestead Direct Primary Care is because, kind of in the homesteading movement, which I consider it more of a homestead than a farm, we don't have tons of crops and we don't have lots and lots of animals. So, it's not a ranch, it's not a farm, it's a homestead. So, in the homestead movement, part of the idea is to heal the land from what we've done to it in the past. We didn't understand just what an impact artificial fertilizers and pesticides were having on the soil and losing our topsoil, things like that. So, part of what I try to do, I mean, I don't really need to generate my own milk and eggs, but being able to enjoy doing that process while also putting all this poop all over the land all the time is my little way of healing over this part that I have control of. And I see a lot of similarities in my medical practice too, in that I want to not only build relationships with these new patients and support my family off of this membership system, but also do my part in healing the damage that previous medical systems, previous doctors, previous experiences have done to them when they didn't feel that they were being listened to, that they felt they were being brushed off or told it's all in their head and that doesn't really count as real. I want my relationship with them to heal that over in the same way that I want the animals that I have on my property to be healing up whatever I can do to build the topsoil, to make it retain more moisture, retain the rain and precipitation that we do get to make for a healthier environment in my little 5 acres. So, yeah,
So,
I have a dairy cow and chickens and geese and turkeys, and my turkeys and my pigs kind of disappear every winter time. And then we get new ones every summer, and they're
oh,
delicious.
I was gonna say that sounds like a dream to me. I mean, I will tell you, like my dream now in South Texas where I live, 5 acres is nothing. Like 5 acres, you can't do anything. Um, but give me 500 acres. Oh my, I will be in paradise. But my wife likes to be closer to Sam's Club. So until they put a Sam's Club in the middle of King Ranch, I think I'm gonna be out of luck in that front. But it has been a pleasure meeting you and talking with you today. I hope you will join us again in the future, maybe as we have a panel of some sort. It's been a very easy conversation, and sometimes you just don't know what you're going to get. You're going to come in and you don't know. Is it going to be easy? Going to be hard? Are you going to have to pull teeth, or or is it just going to be natural? So this has been a great episode. Thank you so much for being here with me today. And as we wrap up this episode, can you tell us and our listeners where they can find you? What's
Ah,
the best
great.
place to reach you?
Thanks for having me, Wayne. I have oh man, I love my website. It's cosdoctor.com. I'm active on YouTube. I try to post a lot of videos on there, mostly educational. I also like Facebook and Instagram. They might have very similar posts a lot of time, but whatever is your social media of choice.
Awesome. Are you on LinkedIn?
I am. It's not quite as popular as my Instagram and Facebook, but yeah, I'm there too.
Awesome. Well, I will make sure that we put all of those handles in the show note. And I want to again thank Dr. Langley for being here with us. And I want to encourage everyone to check out her social media, check out her website. And who knows, maybe one day she will sell some of that delicious milk, raw cow milk, to the world
Legally,
for all of our
legally, okay,
consumption.
legally.
Legally, wherever it's legal.
Wherever it's
All
legal.
right, where it's legal. This has been the Best DPC podcast. And I want to tell you, if you want to learn more about direct primary care, one of the best places to go is to go to our website, bestdpc.com. There you're going to find resources and networking opportunities across the United States. We'd love to have you check out our website, create a profile if you don't already have one. Find us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Always remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel and listen to this podcast on your favorite podcast platform. Remember, until next time, your health matters. So demand the best with direct primary care. Bye bye.
American healthcare stinks. A maze of red tape and greed that's out of sight. It's time for new choices. A revolution in care where